Great. I'll call the meeting to order for Wednesday, May 28th, 2025. Roll call members, please.
General,
Here.
leaders,
Here.
Anderson,
Here.
let the record show that Austin and Stella are absent tonight.
You've all had a chance to read the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes or make corrections?
Motion to approve?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. I'll now read our opening statement. Public hearing will be conducted pursuant to the board's rule of procedure as adopted May 26th, 1988. We will first hear the report of the planning director, the detailed information and observations regarding the request, if not done so in written form prior to the hearing. Next, we will take the testimony of the applicant and his or her witnesses. Upon completion of the applicant's testimony, I'll call upon members of the audience wishing to make a statement concerning the request. Persons in favor of the request shall be heard first, followed by those who oppose it. At any time during this presentation of testimony, members of the board may interrupt to ask questions or make comments on what has been said. Upon completion of all testimony, the applicant will be allowed to make a closing statement to the board. Upon completion of the applicant's closing statement, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the request. After the public hearing has been closed, we will then hear the recommendation, if any, of the planning director. And upon completion of all discussion, I'll entertain a motion of members of the board regarding the disposition of the application. Each speaker addressing the board shall step forward to the podium, state their name and address before proceeding with their testimony or evidence. I would ask that you spell your last name. This board shall not be bound by strict rules of evidence, but does reserve the right to exclude evidence or testimony that may deem to be irrelevant, immaterial, incompetent, or unduly repetitious. As chairman, I will rule on all questions relating to the admissibility of evidence, which may be overruled by the majority of the board. The board may grant continuances in case for good cause shown to interested party who has entered his appearance. The board may at any time request a continuance of a hearing for the purpose of giving further notice, taking further evidence, gathering further information, touring the proposed site, or for any other such reason the board may find sufficient. In such case, we shall state the specific reasons for the continuance and set a date, time, and place when the matter will be continued. All official actions of this board will be made at public hearing by motion made, seconded, and polling of the membership. If conditions are imposed, such conditions shall be included in the motion or amended hereto. Our final decision will be prepared in writing and will be part of the public record of this board. Once this board has reached a decision on the case, that decision shall be final. Section 335.1A of the Iowa Code states, any person or persons jointly or severally aggravated by any decision of the Board of Adjustment under the provisions of Chapter 335, or any taxpayer, officer, department, board, or bureau of the county may present to the court of record a petition duly verified, setting forth that such decision was illegal in whole or in part, specifying the grounds of legality. Such petition shall be presented to the court within 30 days after the filing of the decision of the board. Upon hearing that, I would ask for a motion to open the public hearing on case ZV-2025-03.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Then moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Public hearing is now open. Randall, if you would like to come up to the podium, state your name and address and kind of tell us what you have planned.
Randall Sheard, SHEARD, 19332 Old Lincoln Highway.
Okay.
I'm planning on building a pole barn behind my existing barn. Its total height will be 24 foot 11 inches at the peak, and I'm in an R2 zone, so I believe 22 foot is the maximum allowed. So I'm requesting a 3 foot height variance.
Okay. Is it a pole barn? Is that a or metal barn?
It's gonna Gingrich, a metal
Okay.
clad pole barn.
And else have any questions for him there? What color is it? I was just kind of curious what color it might be.
Red, it's gonna match the existing.
You have an existing building
Okay, yeah.
already, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this gonna be taller than that then?
I think the cupola will be the same height as
Oh.
the existing building. It backs up to a hill and I put in
Yeah, kinda-
a 6 foot retaining wall and the buildings can be built in front of that retaining wall.
Gotcha.
No, I think that looks
There's no houses up. there's
No,
houses
oh no,
behind or anything like
that hill's
or-
probably 90 or 80 foot
Yeah.
to its
okay.
peak and then there's trees and
Yeah, there's
transmission
trees
lines.
walking around, right?
Yeah.
That are higher. I don't have any other questions.
all right. Anything you, Karen? Nope. That's it. You can have a seat if you like.
Thank you.
Ready to speak in favor? Anybody opposed?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
To be moved and seconded?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Public hearing is closed. That's for the,
Our recommendation would be to approve the application, subject to the following condition. The proposed building setback shall be a minimum of 25 feet from the side yard and 50 feet from the rear yard. It's based on the following findings of fact. Number one, the applicant's lot size is sufficient to support the proposed structure. Number two, the property is not in a platted subdivision. Number three, the subject building is not going to be used for any commercial activities. Number four, the aforementioned facts reduce the potential visual and aesthetic impacts on the line of sight for which the height restriction was adopted.
if there's no more discussions. What's a member that asked for a motion on their case?
Makes sense to me. I don't think it's gonna affect anything, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Been moved in second. Roll call vote.
Leaders,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Jenner,
Yes. Your application has been approved. Your case has been approved, so congratulations. Is there any other business, Matt?
The only other thing I would pass along is that the state did change two laws that kind of affect this board here. Number one is on the ADU, accessory dwelling pieces that we've done, a few of these in the past. After July 1, every single family lot that is out there is eligible to put an ADU on their lot. So it's no longer gonna have to be a conditional use where we come to you all for that process of it. So that'll kind of take that away. We have some code changes that we have to make in conjunction with that. And the second one is a little bit more in-depth, specific to boards of adjustment, which is people in the past have always had to kind of prove a hardship to that. Why does, whether it's self-inflicted or whatever, they changed the hardship verbiage and is now practical difficulty. We don't quite know what practical difficulty means yet, and I've asked Kristen, from the county attorney's office, if she could try to look into this to see what she can find on potential case things that were a practical difficulty could potentially be mentioned in there. But it could mean that there's a potential for more variances coming across to say it's easier to. I mean, is a tree in the way of practical difficulty? I like that tree. I don't want to take that tree out. Is that? So, I mean, there's a number of things that could potentially be practical difficulties in what we do here and what you all decide upon. So those are the two things that I know of right now. And we're looking, like I said, on that one, we're looking for more information. But the ADU, it will come off of your all's plate for people having to come in and ask for that.
So when they changed that on the ADU, did they change any of the other rules with the ADUs?
That's what I was gonna-
Is it still the basic, the lot size and all that stuff still in effect? or-
No more lot sizes.
Okay,
That took all, that was.
so that took all that out.
Took all that out. If you
Okay.
have a lot and you have a house on it, you are going to be allowed to have up to one
Up to one.
ADU, and the state language reads up to 1,000 square feet, right?
Yeah,
We've already kind of learned our lesson here that we don't want to be having, I mean, how do you police that? Everybody always wants 1,200 or just a little bit more, something like that. So what we've talked about, and I mentioned this to Kristen, and she sounded like she was okay with it. We keep our language going to be somewhat the same, where as long as you're smaller than the principal dwelling. So if you got a 1,900 square foot footprint of a house and you decide you want an 1,800 square foot ADU, that's up to you. It's smaller than your principal house. We're not gonna sit here and pull hairs over, cause when we limit them to the 800 or 1,000 or even 1,200, it never fails. They're kind of at the counter saying, well, what if I put the stairs going upstairs outside of the envelope? Does then that take away from my square footage count of it? Or they're trying to move a mechanical room outside, and we're just better off just saying that we're not gonna look at, as long as you're smaller than that, and I'm sure we'll have people that still try to split hairs even on that aspect of
sure.
it, but,
My worry is always septics, laterals and wells.
right.
And if there's no limit, I mean, size lot wise, eek.
That was the pushback from the rural zoning group,
Yeah.
was that you're not taking into consideration what we have to deal with on let's, use one of the small subdivisions right outside of town.
Right.
You have those that are already maxed out on their septic
Rosebud,
area.
Red-
Yeah, Rosebud, and
Yeah.
Wildwood. So
Yep.
say Wildwood and you went to say, well, I'm gonna put a guest house in my backyard of Wildwood. What's that look like? You don't have septic capacity for it. There's not a chance that you're gonna be able to. So there will be some natural constraints on those areas, I think. And maybe it'll make a harder push for them to be annexed into town. So,
Even if you have the septic to handle it, what if it goes bad?
Mhm.
You've used up all your space.
Well, then they just put in a holding tank and they pump it.
filtration system, something, yeah,
You do.
If
so,
only those were perfected, but they're not.
but yeah, that's it.
All right, motion to adjourn.
A second?
Second.
Moved in second, all in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Meeting adjourned.